All right, go for it. Wait for Corey.
All right, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn the Keatons might be vampires.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey everyone! Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining us from New York City, Paul Packler. How are you?
I'm good. Hey ho! Forget about it.
Hey, get a slice of pizza. More New York references. Times Square, subways, Statue of Liberty. And Corey,
you're like a real New Yorker, Scott.
I'm glad. Preparation. Thank you. Corey Pepper, how are you?
You know, I live in Southern California, so peace and love to both of you.
Wow.
Oh. This is why you didn't get to play Grumpy longer than you did when you were doing Snow White. You weren't grumpy enough, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, it is a brand new day at Quality Time with Family Ties. The sun is shining. We have gotten
Corey's
through.
dying.
I'm fine.
I'm dying. Still hasn't gotten over that cough. But we had a miserable Christmas. We had a slightly better episode after Christmas, but for the most part...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
There he is again. He's frozen
Scott.
again.
And it's so weird that it didn't happen to you, Corey. Like, you know, we've been going the normal amount of time. And
What's up?
That's Scott. Coming back to life?
I'm here. You hear me?
You are there?
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Here,
we
lost you, so start again.
Okay, I'll just start with after our hello, okay? So in 3, 2, 1. It is a brand new day on Quality Time with Family Ties. We've had a rough Christmas. We had a slightly better episode after that last one. But today, this episode, if there is such a thing as parallel universes, this one is coming to us from a very perfect world. This episode was hysterical.
It is morning in Columbus.
Yes!
That's
know.
a Reagan reference. That should have gotten a bigger laugh.
Wait. Paul, try it again. Try it again.
All right, ready? It is morning in Columbus. Man.
Woo! Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah. If you have been listening to the show and watching the episodes, then you know how staggering the difference this episode is. And if you haven't, watch any episode from the past 12, and then watch this, and the leap is amazing in the writing.
It's also, by the way, did you guys notice that they have completely different graphics in this episode?
No. What do you mean by graphics?
I didn't notice
and
that.
Closing credits are all in a different typeface than they have been in the past 12. This is episode 13.
Right.
Completely different typeface.
I missed that.
I did
so
too.
during their little year break, their holiday break that they took, they must have done a few things. I mean, clearly, writing-wise, it's a notch up, and it looks different. There's a different look to it to me.
Mallory's hair, she looks like she's in the B-52s.
Absolutely.
She's wearing shoulder pads, the most 80s thing ever. Steven's hair is longer. Who else? There's someone else that looks different.
Mallory also looks like she's wearing Uggs in this episode, even though I know Uggs didn't exist at that time. But everything looks different. She's no longer in her little house on the prairie getup.
She looks like an 80s teenager, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. NBC, there was a time when NBC knew what they were doing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they tinkered with it, they made it better instead of making it worse like they do now.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Like it's so dramatically different that it's almost like they fired the entire writing staff and Gary David Goldberg and brought in someone
and hired
new
people. Absolutely.
Right. It feels like they cleaned house.
This episode was written by Barbara Hall with Gary David Goldberg. But Barbara Hall has an incredibly weird career. She started in sitcom, and this was part of when she started. Mm-hmm. But since then, in the last 20 years, she's one of the biggest producer, creator, showrunners of one-hour drama on TV. She created Judging Amy. She created Joan of Arcadia. She created Madam Secretary that's running right now.
Wow.
So she totally changed her career from, which is, by the way, which I hear is pretty common for women. Women have an easier time writing and selling one-hour drama than they do doing half-hour comedy, which clearly goes more towards short Jewish white guys.
Right. It's more of a boys' club where when you're doing a one-hour drama, it's pretty much like the showrunner is the entire it's
absolutely right. And they can hammer out plot and they can do a first pass and then give it to staff writers to finish.
Right. It's almost like a film as opposed to what you would normally think of a TV show
as a writer's room. Right. So I just thought it was weird that this is somebody who has a real track record since Family Ties. But when I looked it up, she had worked on Newhart, so she had a lot of connections with Gary David Goldberg.
Wow.
All I can say is thank God for Barbara Hall because she brought new life to this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it continues throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is that we did some cursory looking of when this was shot versus other episodes, like if they aired them out of order of shooting order, and I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely feels like this was shot in 1986 and taken back in time to 1983.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the future. Well, let's get into the story. So Mallory is getting ready to meet her friend, or not her friend, a girl that she really wants to become friends with named Sherry, because Sherry is in this sorority that Mallory wants to join. Quick question. Now, Mallory should be like a sophomore in high school?
Right.
Why is she pledging a sorority?
Don't understand it. Do they have high school sororities? I didn't get it.
I did not understand that. It felt every time they kept bringing it up, and even when they go to the sorority house, it looks like a college sorority.
It totally fooled me. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it's so weird. And even if it were true that there are high school sororities, why have we, the three of us in our entire lives,
never heard
of such a thing?
Right.
It's just weird. So I can accept things being different for television. I'm not one of those. It's like, okay, it's not real, but nor is everything else on TV.
Right. And the sorority's called Pi Nu. I don't know if that means anything, but that is the case. And then during this time that she wants to get into the sorority, Skippy comes over. This is our second Skippy appearance.
That's right.
And what an entrance from Skippy. It was awesome.
What happened? He got hit by a car? What was he doing?
They were skiing, I think, or something. They were
doing something in front of playing football.
Okay. Football. That's right. And Skippy ran into a pole.
Right, a pole.
Yeah. This was, and even this character right off the bat of Skippy was tweaked from the last time we saw him. He didn't come across as like kind of creepy, stalkerish. He was like a lovable puppy. His first line is that my beloved? Is that Mallory? I was cracking up. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Mallory, and she's like a fucking baller in this episode. Like, her character is so different. She's like, Skippy, shove it up your ass. I'm not going to talk to you. I mean, she is like, I'm surprised she didn't punch Jennifer in the face, or maybe that was what I was dreaming would happen, but like... Like, she is bringing A-game character, this character of Mallory now.
And it's the perfect balance because, we've always been afraid of Mallory becoming too dumb. This was kind of a nice balance. There were moments where, she is into her... It wasn't that she was dumb. She was just materialistic, but also had some brains and thought, and it was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I thought she showed balls in this episode. I thought she had balls. Ultimately she ends up confronting both Alex and Sherry by the end of the episode. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
And I thought, good for you. You sort of stood up for yourself. And you basically told everyone who acted like a douche to you, hey, you're acting like a douche.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was great. So they come. Okay, so Mallory sees that Skippy's in the house and quickly wants to get him out because Sherry is coming over, and that can't be seen. And I was laughing out loud when they try to rush Skippy off because Sherry's coming in. Skippy yells, "Hurry, hurry, before she sees me!" It was great.
He's so accommodating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that again, they made Skippy accommodating to Mallory's every whim, and Mallory just not having it. It was just the clash was so great.
Mm-hmm. And so what happens? Sherry comes over by this point? Like we're still in this scene? Okay.
Yeah. Sherry comes over, and it's very obvious that Sherry has a crush on Alex P. Keaton.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Of course.
She must have heard that he lost his virginity about 8-9 weeks ago.
and he's read Our Bodies Ourselves.
Exactly.
That's right. He knows how to please a woman at this point.
Mm-hmm. He's got his. And Sherry doesn't even waste any time. She doesn't even casually mention Alex. She's like, "So, where's Alex?" That's the first thing she says to Mallory. The writing staff was really jumping in to get the plot going.
Mm-hmm. And she's pretty hot, right? I forget. It's been a couple weeks since I saw this episode. She's hot, right? No?
Yeah.
All right.
I thought the girl he lost his virginity to was hotter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they're standing there, and then Alex comes in, and he grabs the Commerce and Shipping News, right? Or he's listening to the radio or something?
Yes, Commerce and Shipping News.
Commerce and Shipping News, yeah.
Yeah,
Which took me back to trading. It took me back to Trading Places, where they want to hear about the orange sales.
Yeah. In the 80s, it was all about
commodities.
Yeah, I was just gonna say commodities and futures. Yeah, he's really on the cusp.
Which actually is very Midwestern. It's not something that's paid attention to on the coasts, but in Chicago, in that exchange, it's the commodities exchange in Chicago. So that's the Midwestern thing.
Totally.
So Alex, but we should point out, Alex is not interested in Sherry at all. Wants nothing to do with her. And I kind of get it because Sherry's kind of a little bit of a little sociopathic, a little bit. Like she really comes on strong.
She does.
Right.
She's a ball buster.
Right. Yeah.
So they're still talking, and then he comes down because he had gone upstairs, and then he's like, "I forgot my globe," and then he grabs the globe, and that made me laugh. I just like that. I forgot how the world works. Give me that.
Well, it's like if he's listening to commodities and shipping, he wants to be able to look at shipping patterns around the world on his globe.
On his globe. Not a map, a globe. It was great. Yeah, yeah. And that's when, and so Sherry pretty much, without saying so much, she tells Mallory, she's like, if you can, get me a date with Alex, there's a good chance I'm going to let you into the sorority.
Right. That she has some pull to get her accepted and all that.
Right. And that's when the episode really starts bubbling, because now we have our conflict and our setup and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it goes to the next day, and it was great to see Mallory they're having breakfast, and it was great seeing Mallory's plan is to really butter up Alex, let him have his seat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny to see Mallory acting like this to Alex, because usually she's so dismissive of him.
It's the first time we've really seen this.
That Mallory's sucking up to Alex because Alex can do something to help her.
Yes. And Steven has a storyline where he wants to help her with her science project.
I thought this was one of the first real B plots that we finally had in the show. It wasn't particularly well done, but it was still a B plot.
Yes.
And they carried it through from start to finish.
Yes.
And it was great to see that this Steven character felt a little tweaked to me, because this was the Steven I really remember more of in Family Ties, where he overdoes things. He kind of has a Clark Griswold quality about him, where he has to really jump in and go for it. He's a little overeager, and that quality I hadn't seen yet. And so it was kind of nice to see how enwrapped he gets into the science fair project.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, another laugh out loud joke from Michael Grosov when Jennifer's saying, you didn't complete my project that you did for me. He's like, I told you, Jennifer, I ran out of paste.
Yeah.
I think he nails. He rarely misses a moment. He's very, very competent in the show. I don't remember it that way, but on second viewing 30 years later, I'd hire him in a heartbeat to do a comedy.
Totally.
That's awesome.
And it was probably very good training also for Michael J. Fox to be working with someone, a guy who's really good with comedy, and he could have learned very early on, not that Michael J. Fox had any problems with it, but it certainly helped in terms of learning timing and how good Michael Gross is with sometimes speeding the joke up, sometimes slowing the joke down, sometimes starting the joke and then using a facial reaction or a look to somebody. But he usually mixes it up, and it's really sort of very, very well done. I enjoy watching him.
Yeah. And both Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter are so good at grounding the humor too.
In reality, yes.
That's another great lesson to be learned from what they do that other shows don't either care about or are able to do well.
Almost all of their jokes are tinged with some honesty, an honest actor thing going on with them, so that they don't really ruin their own joke, but there's an actual moment going on with something funny being said. It works really well for them.
Yeah. That's why when the script sells them out and gets too goofy, when like they're having a real moment, that's why it is so annoying, you know, in past episodes we've discussed. It's because they're so good at grounding it that when it really sticks out.
If only Michael Gross worked more with Tina Yothers, the show would have been so, you know.
She could have learned a thing or two.
He probably told her, listen here, idiot. This is how you do it. All right. So Mallory pretty much approaches Alex and tells him, look, I really want to get into the sorority. I need you to take Sherry out. And he's like, there's no way. No, this isn't happening. Again, another very Alex thing. One, you're recommending her to me. There's no way I want to go out with her.
Yeah. And then he says something that is a line that is amazing. He says that he has 3 rules for dating, which, you know, anything in threes with me is amazing. Yeah. Any list of strange things. He goes, her IQ is, no, I never date anyone who has an IQ lower than a room temperature, contagious diseases, or is a friend of yours. And then he goes, and I think there might be some overlap in those categories.
That's another thing about this episode is there's a little bit of an edge. There's a nice edge to some of the jokes in this episode.
Yeah, we all know what contagious diseases mean.
Yeah. And the
she doesn't
overlap.
have influenza. What's that?
Right. I was like, the joke of the overlap.
Yeah.
And then we go into the living room, and I think, Skippy comes in at this point, and he has had a bet with Alex that he will never get an A on a test. And he brings home, so he's all excited. Here, Alex, look, you owe me $50 because you never said I would get an A. And Michael J. Fox takes it. He's like, Skippy, this is a physical test. A health test that he passed. And he's like, a test is a test, forcing Michael J. Fox to have to pay Skippy $50.
Quite a bit of money in 1983 for both of them.
That's a big bet.
I'd say.
Did you guys ever bet your friends in school? Like,
certainly not $50 when it wasn't working.
Yeah. I was thinking about, like...
I don't think I've ever made a $50 bet in my life anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I never did, because I always knew, like, in high school you would make a bet, but no one would ever pay up.
Right. It would just be words. It wouldn't be an actual payoff.
I think when I was a kid, we went to Pizza Hut, and my parents or my sister and I, and she was maybe like 4 or 5 years old or something like that, and I bet her $20 that she couldn't eat the red pepper flakes that were at the table at Pizza Hut.
You're a horrible person.
Yeah, and so she ate them, and it wasn't that bad, because they're not that hot. And she ate them, and then I still, to this day, haven't paid her the $20.
Hey, Barb, if you want to come on the show and resolve this, come on the show and let's hash this out with Paul.
We can address this.
And I think we can get you your money.
Therapy session, Barb. It'd be really fun.
with awkward
Bob,
jokes 2/3 of the way through the discussion.
We'll figure out the interest too for you, Barb.
Yeah.
So now this is where I felt the writing got even better, is because now they have these two situations overlapping. Alex needs money, and
or he doesn't
Mallory
want to pay
needs
money.
But he doesn't want to
Alex
pay. Yeah, he doesn't want
pay.
to pay money. Right, because Skippy gives him the alternative of, well, if you could get me a date with Mallory.
Well,
okay.
Now, did Sherry suggest the double date yet?
Mallory said to Sherry, "Oh, we could go on a double date. Like you and I could go." Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So they set the seedlings of this double date, so that the minute that Skippy says, "Hey, if you don't want to pay off, you could just get me a date with Mallory," it's like a light bulb going off in the audience's head. Right. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be a hilarious double date.
Yeah.
And I even wrote this down. I was like, this is the most complex Family Ties has gotten.
Absolutely. This was complex for them.
This is Arrested Development level of complexity. This is
for 1982. Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so this next scene is great because Mallory comes in. Alex basically says, "Okay, I can. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'll go on a date with Sherry, but in return, you need to, go on a date with. We need to make the double date with Skippy, which Mallory is repulsed by, and
absolutely.
It's this awesome scene of Skippy and Mallory bargaining and negotiating what the date is going to be like, and Alex moderating it.
It's really funny. It's great jokes. It's great characters. Yeah. And at the top of this scene, we didn't mention it, but Steven is working on the science project. So you have 3 plot lines in one scene, you guys. I mean, I don't know if you understand. For the past 12 episodes, we've been dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
One plot. That's it.
This is amazing.
It made me excited again about doing this, of watching Family Ties and doing this show. It's like
I just felt that the anticipation at the end of Act 1 was the most I was anticipating any Act 2, because I knew that Act 2 was going to be the disastrous double date.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's like great improv. You keep heightening the situation until it has a climax.
Anticipation is really part of comedy. When you know what's going to happen, well, you don't know specifically what's going to happen, but you know generally what's going to happen. You love that. That's great. Audiences think that's funny.
Right.
Absolutely. But yes, Paul, you're right. He is working on the science project. Steven is working on the science project, and he's going to make Mallory a molecule, a life-size molecule.
With styrofoam balls.
Yeah.
Styrofoam balls. Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, what high school is this an acceptable thing for a science project? Like what was the lemon and hydrogen peroxide too overdone? What's
that and the volcano? They couldn't do the volcano either.
Yeah. Right.
Look, this is invisible ink. You can write and you won't see it.
And I love the fact that the project never gets any better throughout the episode as he's working on it.
No,
it stays the same.
He's always handing like a giant handful of styrofoam balls that he can barely hold on to.
Yeah.
But again, Michael Gross being awesome of how excited he is to work on this. It's wonderful. It's great. Okay, so they've all agreed to go on this double date. And we cut to the sorority house.
Prepping for the dance.
Yes. Prepping for the dance?
Yeah. Alex and Mallory come in. They're all dressed up. They're looking fine. The parents give Mallory a corsage.
That's right.
Gives her a little flower. Dad gives her a flower he picked.
Yeah, and then Skippy comes in wearing like an ill-fitting tux and a hat, and there's laughter and applause that Skippy is wearing funny-looking clothing. So remember in last episode, they weren't able to deal with absurdism, but funny clothes, oh my god, that is it kills in 1980.
Once again, we're talking costumes, but I gotta mention it, the upside-down cummerbund. You know, who doesn't think that's hilarious?
Yes! Woo! Yep. And and Mark Price sells this too as Skippy. Like, he comes in with so much enthusiasm. How could you not stand up
Wasn't
and
he also
applaud
wearing
him?
a hat with ear flaps too, like one of those furry hats with ear flaps?
Like a Cousin Eddie, Elmer Fudd type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that was a thing with Skippy for a while, that he always would have that hat on or
that
something.
Ear flap hat.
Yeah, I know it goes away eventually, but I wonder if that was kind of like his thing for a while. Like, you get the sense, like, and I think they established it even more, that Skippy is very overprotected by his mom.
Right.
So
And
I
at
think
the same time, they hate him too. Like,
right, he even says, "Oh, they sent me over here for dinner."
Right.
Right.
But anyway, so then we go to the sorority dance at the house.
They go to the house.
And it starts really awkward between Sherry and Alex, because she's all over him like white on rice.
Yeah.
And he's sort of standoffish until it becomes vaguely sexual. And then he's all in.
You know what? Yeah, let's take a quick second. Can we take a break? And I'll tell. We'll stop and then have them cut out what we just said, and then we'll start at the beginning of the
sorority.
I was thinking the same thing too. Yeah. Good.
All right, so ready? We'll be right back. And we're back. We are at the dance at the sorority house.
And the scene sort of starts with Sherry and Alex being very awkward with each other until it turns sexual, and then all of a sudden Alex is very interested.
And it's overly sexual. I like to compare this to the party in episode 2, which was the lamest party in the world. Light years
party.
Yeah,
not the birthday party. The one when the parents were out of town.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The horrible party that Alex threw, and then this party, worlds of difference. It's almost close to your Teen Wolf party, Paul. It's getting there.
It is. It's almost Caligula level.
It's almost clear. If we had some whipped cream and girls in bikinis, it would be the Teen Wolf party, yeah.
Some wedding day fisting, all this stuff is going on in the background of the scene.
Wow, we're 13 episodes in, and I believe that's our first fisting reference.
Right.
Congratulations.
If you're playing,
I would have bet the over-under on that was episode 6.
So if you're playing the home game, please take a shot. So now Alex is into Sherry, and Mallory is tolerating Skippy, which again, if we're and the holes in this story are minuscule compared to how funny it is. But Mallory was all worried about being presentable and having the sorority like her, yet she's completely, tolerating Skippy being with her, which would diminish her chances even more, it seems.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. And also, during this scene when what you're talking about, it's kind of like Mark Price is doing like his best Steve Martin impression from The Jerk. Mm-hmm. Like, there's that energy, that like lovable idiot, but there's a manic and goofy quality that is just Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so it gets to the point. Okay, so this party's going on. It's a great party, and then they're going to announce who gets into the. Mm-hmm. Still not knowing what high school girls are getting into in sorority. But I'm going to go with it because this episode is so funny.
Right, we'll take it like it's for real that girls in high school are in a sorority.
Yeah, let's unpack that further, because I mean, so they're at this house. Who owns this house? Where are the parents in this situation? Like,
is there a sorority parent? Isn't there usually a sorority mother or father, a mother for a sorority? Wouldn't there usually be somebody there, some adult supervision?
But these are all minors, ostensibly, right? There's no college. That's what it
looks like. Sure.
It's so weird.
Maybe maybe, Paul, you're right. They're going in this abstract direction now with Family Ties.
Yeah, they just don't give a shit. They're like, what plot lines do we have lying around? They're like, sorority. They're like, we should wait for that. They're like, no.
No. We're doing it now.
We're just doing it. Done. It's done. We built the set already.
Yeah. You know what it might have been? It might have been NBC being like, here is a list of acceptable plot lines. We have done your abortion. We have done your grandfather dying. We have done racism, schmacism.
Right.
Listen,
Let's
you are
just have
doing
something
sorority.
silly. For God's sakes, go to a sorority house.
Yes.
Just have something. Can we please have? Yeah, the network is like, can we please have some fun? And you know what, guys? Don't be prudes. Feel free to sex it up a little bit. Come on.
And then
Somebody
Gary David.
kiss somebody.
Yeah, Gary David Goldberg was like, well, can there be rape or maybe an overdose of drinking
No,
at this
Gary.
sorority? And they're like, no.
Gary, no. But and to go along with sexing up, we should point out, Alex is deep throating Sherry on that couch.
Whoa,
They are just
Scott.
Scott. That may have been the wrong reference, Scott, because
I'm just
usually
saying.
refers in my.
No, I know the other. I get the other way.
They were deep French kissing each other.
Deep French kiss.
Good Lord.
See,
it all started with the fisting and went downhill
It started
from there.
fisting, and then we got a deep throat reference, and there we go. It's all gone to hell now.
I just look at it as we're going along with what the network notes gave Family Ties, so we're taking that to Quality Time with Family Ties and applying it.
So Mallory isn't in the group. Like, they don't accept her, and I guess that's sad.
Yeah, and
right?
she, I think she's going to be a better person for not going to a sorority.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and then she wants to go. She wants to go home, and Alex won't go, right?
But we also find out that Sherry never had any pull to get her.
Which means Sherry was just a freaking liar from the get-go.
Right.
To using Mallory, but as we find out that her name wasn't even submitted to be in the sorority.
She never had any intention of helping Mallory. It was all to kiss Alex P. Keaton.
Yep.
And that's weird. That's suspect logic from Sherry, because, I mean, you know, if you're going to start dating Alex, you're going to see Mallory more often than not.
Absolutely.
You don't want to dick over somebody too much that you're going to see for a long time.
I don't think Sherry put that much thought into this.
Nope.
No.
IQ lower than room temperature. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And an infectious disease, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, Mallory wants to go home. Alex, of course, wants to stay. And
Alex basically dumps Mallory at the party. It's like, okay, you go home. You go home. I'm busy right now.
Like, I'll take you home, Mallory.
Skippy says, "I'll take you home, Mallory."
Yeah, that's and then she runs, and then Mallory just runs off.
Right.
And then where are we? Next scene, right?
We're back in the kitchen again. I think. Aren't we still in the kitchen here?
Yes.
This is the family never sleeps. Here's the next scene that takes place in bathrobes in the middle of the night, or pajamas.
Right. Steven still has his project, right? And what's the...
Right.
I don't know. I don't have it marked down. Shit. Scott? That's
working on... Scott lost us.
Scott lost us.
He's frozen again.
Restarting. All right, I'm going to go pee really fast. I'll be right back.
Okay. Should I disconnect then?